Hi and welcome back to my channel. I am Teenie Crochets and today I'll be showing you how to make these adjustable tea cozies. So these can be made in any colour and any size. So get your crochet hooks at the ready and let's get going. To begin, I am going to be using my 3.5mm hook and I am using DK yarn, and I'm going to be using blue, purple, orange and yellow, but remember you can use any colours that you want. I'm going to be changing colour at the start of every row, but you don't have to do that either. You could make your tea cosy all in the same colour. So to begin with, I'm going to slip knot onto my hook and I'm going to chain 72 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71 and 72. So now I'm going to single crochet in the second chain from hook and all other chains across. So I'm going to single crochet back across all of these chains and I will have a total of 71 stitches. So from the second chain from hook, we're going to single crochet right the way across. And at the end of this round, after you've done your 71 single crochets, we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and the chain 3 is going to count as a double crochet from here on out. So all the chain 3s will be classed as a double crochet. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to skip 2 stitches. So we've chained 3 from our first stitch, we're going to skip 2 stitches, and into the next stitch we're going to do 3 double crochet all into that same stitch. So the first stitch we've chained 3 from, we're then going to skip 2, and into the next stitch we're going to do 3 double crochet. So yarn over hook, insert hook into stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop. So there are 3 loops on our hook, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. And we're going to do that another 2 times into that same stitch. And what we have done is we have created 3 double crochets. So we've created a cluster stitch. We're now going to skip 2 stitches, and into the next stitch we're going to do another 3 double crochet. All into that same space. We're going to skip 2 stitches, and into the next stitch another 3 double crochet, and we're going to repeat that all the way across to the last stitch. So we're going to skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, and in the next stitch 3 double crochets. Skip 2, 3 double crochets, skip 2, 3 double crochets, skip 2 and 3 double crochets. It's worth saying here that this is for a standard 4-cup teapot. So if you wanted to do a bigger tea cosy, you could always just use a bigger hook, or say Aran or chunky yarn. You're always going to get a bigger outcome then, aren't you? But for this one, this is just for your standard medium teapot. But if I was to make this with, say, a 4.5mm hook, it's going to turn out bigger than what this one will with the 3.5. Or even if you use worsted weight yarn or Aran yarn, again, it's going to turn out a little bit bigger. So I'm skipping 2 and doing 3 double crochets right the way along. Skip 2, 1, 2, 3 double crochets, 1, 2 and 3, skip 2, 3 double crochets, and then when we get to the last chain, the last stitch of this round, the very last stitch, we're just going to do 1 double crochet into that last stitch, 1 double crochet. And so we finished with this colour now, unless you're continuing to make your whole project in this colour, but I'm going to change colours now. So I'm going to chain 1 to fasten off, cut the yarn and pull through. I'm now going to start changing colour at the beginning of every row. So if you are obviously, as I said before, working with blue, you just continue with the blue. So you just chain 3 at this point, but I'm going to add a new colour and I'm going to add it at the beginning of every row. So to do that, I'm going to slip knot onto my hook, and this is how I join my yarn. What we want to do is attach our yarn into that last stitch and chain 3. So if you use the method where, say, you tie the yarn on, so you just tie a knot here, you would chain 3. But this is how I do my colour changes. I'm going to insert my hook into the last stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop. So I have 2 loops on my hook. I'm then going to yarn over and pull through both loops. So what I have done is I have attached my new colour and done a single crochet, and this to me is just the safest way of attaching yarn, because I know that that's not going to unravel. And now I'm going to chain 2. So I've basically done a chain 3, which will count as a double crochet. Now we're going to be working in between the clusters we made on the previous row. So we're going to be working in each of the gaps between all the clusters. So we're going to skip the first cluster, and in the next gap we're going to do 3 double crochets. 1, 2 and 3. So we've done a cluster. We're going to do that all the way until we have 11 clusters. So we've got 1 cluster. I'm going to go to the next gap and do another cluster. Go to the next gap, do another cluster. And I'm going to do this until I have 11 clusters. So what have we got? We've got 3. This is our 4th. And then our 5th. Our 6th. Our 7th. Our 8th. Our 9th. Tenth. And 11th. After my 11th cluster, I'm going to chain 1 and I'm going to cut the yarn here and pull through. Because what I need to do, or what I am going to do, is I'm going to leave a hole here right in the middle, and I'm going to leave it blank and not work it for around 8 rows, and this is going to become where the tea spout will come out of later. So we now want to join our yarn. We're going to skip this cluster and rejoin our yarn here. So we're going to do the same thing we did at the beginning of the row. I'm going to slip knot onto hook, insert my hook into the space, into the next gap, yarn over, pull up a loop. So there are 2 loops on my hook, yarn over and pull through 2. And then I'm going to chain 2 to make that a double crochet. Now to finish off my cluster, I'm going to do another 2 double crochets into that space. 1 and 2. So you can see what I've done. We've left a gap right in the middle of our work. So I'm now going to do another 10 clusters working in all the gaps. So we'll have a total of 10 clusters on this side, 11 clusters on this side. So this is our 2nd cluster. Then our 3rd. Doing the same thing we did on the other side. 4th. 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th. Then to finish this row, I'm going to do a double crochet into the top of the chain 3 from the very beginning. So I'm going to do a double crochet into the last stitch. Then I'm going to chain 1 and cut my yarn. Pull through, and I'm ready to go onto my 3rd round. Now we're on to our 3rd row, and I'm going to be joining an orange colour this time. So into the last stitch of the last round, I'm going to join my yarn by doing my slip knot onto hook. I'm going to insert my hook, eventually. I'm going to insert my hook into the last stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, so I have 2 loops on my hook, yarn over and pull through both. So I've added my new colour, and I'm going to chain 2, and that will count as a double crochet. Into that same stitch, I'm going to do another 2 double crochets. So I'm starting this round with a cluster into that last stitch, all into that last stitch. Now I'm going to do a cluster in each of the gaps all the way across again. So we're going to cluster all the way to the middle. So we're going to do, I think it's an extra 10 clusters. So 1, 2. So we'll have 11 in total. We're going to do 3 double crochet into all the spaces until we get to the middle part with the spout. So that is my last gap until I get to the centre part. So I think that was 11 clusters. So let's just do a quick count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, that was 11 clusters. And into the last, we had 3 double crochets into the last double crochet. So the 3rd of the double crochet, I'm going to do a double crochet into that. That wasn't the last one. So into the last double crochet of this cluster, so the last cluster of this side, I'm going to do a double crochet into the last stitch. Then I'm going to chain 1, cut our work, then we're going to jump straight onto the next side and rejoin our work again. So slip knot onto hook, insert my hook into that last stitch, well the first stitch now, yarn over and pull up a loop, so there are 2 loops on my hook, yarn over and pull through both, and then chain 2, so we've got a double crochet in that first stitch, and now we're going to do clusters in each of these gaps along right the way to the last stitch. So we should have another 11 clusters on this side. So working across into each gap, we're doing 3 double crochet clusters. So we now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 clusters, and we're going to do the last cluster into the top of the chain 3 from the previous round. So we're going to do 3 double crochets into the top of the chain 3 from the previous round. So the last stitch of the previous round, we're going to do 3 double crochets all into that space. Chain 1, cut our yarn and fasten off. So we're now going to repeat the last 2 rounds another 3 times, and this will give us 8 rounds of gaps for our T-spout. Now if your T-spout is particularly high or low, you can vary how many you do here, but I'm going to do an average amount, which is a total of 8 rounds. So we're going to repeat the last 2 rows another 3 times. So with my new colour, which is yellow, I'm going to slip knot onto hook, and I'm going to repeat the same thing we did with the pink round. I'm going to insert my hook into the last stitch that we just fastened off from, yarn over to join our yarn, yarn over and pull through 2, and then chain 2. So we've got a double crochet into that first stitch. We're now going to go into all the gaps and do clusters in each gap until we get to the center. So let's do clusters all the way across, and then into the last gap another 3 clusters. So we have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 clusters. Chain 1, cut the yarn, pop straight over to the opposite side, take our yarn, slip knot onto hook, insert into the first gap, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and then chain 2 so that we have a double crochet. Into this same gap we're going to do another 2 double crochets to make our cluster, and then we're going to cluster into each gap across again. So this will be our last cluster, and we should have 11 clusters on the second side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then we're going to do a double crochet just into the last stitch of this round. Do that one again. Chain 1, cut the yarn. So the next round, slip knot onto hook, insert hook into the last stitch, or the first stitch, yarn over, pull up 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and chain 2 for our double crochet. And into that same stitch we're going to do another 2 double crochets, 1 and 2. So we did 3 double crochets all into one stitch, and now we're going to keep jumping across to each gap and do our clusters until we get to the center. So that's all the clusters on this side. So let's just check that there's 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we're going to do 1 double crochet into the last stitch of this round, of this row, of this side. Chain 1, cut our yarn, pull through, then jump straight over to the opposite side, slip knot onto hook, insert hook into the first stitch, yarn over to pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, chain 2 to make a double crochet, and then we're going to jump straight into the next gap and do our clusters into all the gaps across until we get to the last stitch. And into the last stitch of this round, we're going to do 3 double crochets into that stitch. 1, 2 and 3. So let's just check. We've got 11 clusters here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11. So we know that's all correct. Chain 1, cut our yarn and pull through. So we are going to repeat them last 2 rows another 2 times. So you can always skip ahead in the video now if you've got the hang of the pattern that we're following, but if not, I will continue to crochet in the film, but you may get bored, so you can always skip ahead to where we then join in the round. But for now, I'm going to repeat these last 2 rows another 2 times, so we have 4 more rows to do. So we're on to round 3 again. So we are going to be copying this yellow row, or round 3. So I'm going to insert my hook into the last stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 to attach my yarn, and then chain 2 to make a double crochet. So now I'm going to do double crochet clusters in all the spaces across on this side. And we're going to do 3 double crochets into the last space. 1, 2 and 3, so we should have 11 clusters all together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's always worth counting just to make sure. Then we're going to cut this side off, pull through, jump straight across to the opposite side, slip stitch onto hook. Then we're going to insert our hook into the top of the first stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop. So there are 2 loops on our hook, yarn over and pull through both, and then chain 2 to make a double crochet. And into that same stitch we're going to do another 2 double crochets, so 1 and 2. So we have our cluster. Now we're going to continue to do clusters in all gaps across until we get to the end of this row. So I've done all my clusters. Let's check. We have 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And we are going to do a double crochet into the last stitch of this round, which was the top of the chain 3 from the round before. So we're going to do a double crochet, chain 1, cut that yarn and turn. So now we're going to repeat round 5 again. So with my new yarn, I am going to insert my hook into the last stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. So there are 2 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through 2, chain 2. So I have a double crochet, and into that same stitch, which is the top of a double crochet, I'm going to do another 2 double crochets all into that same stitch, 1 and 2. And we've created a cluster, and now I'm going to do clusters in all stitches across, in all gaps across. So clusters all the way across. So that's all the gaps. Let's check. We have 11 clusters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Then we're going to do a double crochet into the last stitch of this round, of this row. So a single double crochet into the last stitch. Fasten off. I'm going to restart exactly the same on the opposite side. So slip knot onto hook. I suppose you can see how repetitive it is at the minute. And into that last stitch, or the first stitch here now, we're going to join our yarn and chain 3, well chain 2, so we have a double crochet, and then into all gaps across we're going to do a cluster into each gap all the way to the last stitch, and then into the last stitch of this round, which is the top of a chain 3, we're going to do 3 double crochets all into the top of that stitch, 1, 2 and 3, and that should give us 11 clusters, Let's count to be safe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11. Fasten off and turn our work. So we need to repeat the last 2 rows one more time. So we need to repeat rows 3 and 4 one more time, and then we should be at the height for a standard teapot spout. So repeat the last 2 rows 2 more times. So let's do that super duper fast. So slip knot onto hook, join yarn into the first stitch with a double crochet, 1, 2 and 3. And now we're going to do clusters into all spaces across till we have a total of 11 clusters. Right, so we're going to do our last cluster into the top of the last stitch. Let's count to check we've got 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Then we can fasten off. Jump straight over to the opposite side. Slip knot onto hook. Join in the last stitch with a double crochet. Then we're going to do another 2 double crochets all into that same stitch to make a cluster. And then we're going to cluster into each gap across till we have 11 clusters. So after our last cluster, let's check we've got 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Then we're going to do 1 double crochet into the last stitch of this row. Chain 1 and fasten off. So let's repeat round 4 again, which is the last row of these separated sides. Let's join our yarn with a slip knot into the first stitch. We're going to join with a double crochet, 1, 2, 3, and then into that same stitch we're going to do another 2 double crochets to make a cluster, 1 and 2. Now we're going to cluster along into each gap until we have 11 clusters on this side. So our last cluster, let's count to check we have 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We're going to do a double crochet into the last stitch of this row. Fasten off. Jump straight over to the opposite side. Join yarn with a double crochet, 1, 2, 3, and now we're going to do clusters in all the gaps along until we have 11 clusters, which will take us to the opposite side. So let's cluster all the way along. Then when we get to the last stitch of this round or this row, we're going to do 3 double crochets all into the top of that 1 stitch to do a cluster, 1, 2 and 3. Then we can fasten off. And on the next round we will join to make this a circle. So as I said earlier, this gap here is going to be for the tea spout, the teapot spout. If you are custom making this to an exact size of a teapot, just make sure that this gap goes to the top of the tea spout, and if not, keep repeating the last 2 rows until you get to the height that you need. But the next round we are going to be joining these so that we're working in the round continuously. And what I'm also going to do is weave in all these ends before we continue. So I'll see you back here once I've done that.